Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Listen up, girlfriend, because you are not going to believe the nightmare that unfolded at my house yesterday. It started like any other Saturday afternoon. I was in the kitchen, pouring a glass of wine, while the kids were playing in the backyard. Our golden retriever Max was lounging on his favorite rug, eyes half closed, as usual. Suddenly, the back gate swung open and Lily, the 7-year-old from next door, burst in without knocking. She was laughing, shoes off, shouting, "Come on, let's play hide and seek." I tried to calm her down, reminding her she needed to ask before coming inside. She rolled her eyes and darted toward the living room, pulling my youngest daughter behind her. Max, who normally tolerates the neighborhood kids, snapped up at the sudden intrusion. Before I could intervene, Lily tripped over the coffee table, fell, and Max lunged, his teeth sinking into her small hand. She screamed, and the house erupted into chaos. I rushed to pull Max away, my heart pounding. Lily's hand was bleeding, a deep red stain spreading across the carpet. I called an ambulance while my wife tried to comfort the terrified child. The neighbor, Mrs. Patel, arrived within minutes, her face a mask of fury. She shouted, "You're going to kill my daughter, you'll be sued." I could barely hear myself think. The phone rang again, and I realized the police were on their way. What would happen when they arrived? The police arrived, flashing lights cutting through the tension in the hallway. Officer Daniels took statements from everyone, his notebook filling with frantic scribbles. Mrs. Patel was already on her feet, demanding that Max be put down immediately. I tried to explain that Lily had broken into our home without permission, that Max had never shown aggression before, and that the bite was a reflex. She was unmoved, eyes blazing, insisting that I was responsible for her daughter's injury. The officer asked to see the security footage, and I promised to send it over. Meanwhile, Lily's mother arrived, tears streaming down her face, clutching her daughter's bandaged hand. She whispered, "Please don't take Max away." The tension in the room was palpable. As the officer left to file his report, Mrs. Patel threatened to sue for medical expenses and to have Max euthanized. I felt the weight of the situation crushing me. I pulled out my phone and called my attorney friend, hoping for a lifeline. He told me to gather every piece of evidence, security video, witness statements, the police report, and to stay calm. He warned that the case could get messy, especially because Lily had entered the house without consent. I hung up, heart racing, and stared at the security monitor. The footage showed Lily slipping in, Max's sudden reaction, and the frantic scramble that followed. I wondered, could this video save Max, or would it only fuel the neighbor's anger? The next step was crucial. I replayed the security footage over and over, each time noticing a new detail. Lily had slipped through the unlocked back gate, a detail that could prove she entered without permission. Max's ears were perked, his body tense, before the bite, an instinctive response to a sudden intrusion. I sent the video to my attorney friend, who replied that it could be a strong defense, but warned that Mrs. Patel's lawyer would likely argue negligence. The neighbor, still fuming, demanded that I pay for Lily's medical bills and that Max be taken away. I felt trapped between protecting my beloved dog and avoiding a costly lawsuit. My wife suggested we settle, but I couldn't bear the thought of losing Max. My attorney friend advised me to file a formal response, to request a mediation, and to prepare for a possible court battle. He reminded me that the law often looks at who invited the child into the house and whether the dog was provoked. As I stared at the empty living room, I heard the front door chime. Mrs. Patel was back, holding a stack of papers. She slammed them on the kitchen table, eyes cold, saying, "You have 48 hours to decide." My phone buzzed with a text from my attorney. "We need to meet tomorrow. Bring everything." The clock was ticking, and the decision I make next could change everything. Now I'm sitting on the couch, cookies in hand, waiting for my attorney friend's call. The house feels too quiet without Max's wagging tail, and the weight of the neighbor's threats hangs heavy in the air. I've gathered the security footage, the police report, and statements from my kids and the neighbor's son, who saw Lily slip in. My attorney says we have a solid case. Lily entered without permission, Max reacted instinctively, and there's no prior history of aggression. He recommends we propose a settlement that covers Lily's medical expenses while keeping Max with us, and suggests a written agreement that the neighbor's children will ask before entering our property. Mrs. Patel, however, remains angry, and I can hear her voice in my head demanding justice. I'm torn between protecting my dog and avoiding a costly legal battle. As the phone finally rings, I take a deep breath, ready to negotiate. The conversation could end with a peaceful agreement, or it could spiral into a courtroom showdown. Either way, the next words I say will determine the fate of Max and the future of our neighborhood peace.